field, what is the vision and process of practice. First, at each field, visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni is holding the and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in space in front of us, and how you realize them, that they are so loving, caring, embracing, with the mother looks at the eyes of the little child who is sick. This constant flow of the mother's love and affection. Then think of the Buddhas in the field, the two grandparents, and all your dear sentient beings around you. Here you are the mother, you are like a mother, and all others are like children. Yes, of course, all beings are suffering. All the sufferings, they're because of the ignorance in different forms, karma karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, and finally, the loss of freedom. Because of this grasping, making you project things and making you believe that things exist objectively. This is what makes you lose your freedom. This is ultimate samsara. And all sentient beings, and all the samsaric beings, they are trapped in this. Even the arahats, they are trapped in this appearance of objective existence. And samsaric beings, they are trapped by not only the appearance, also the apprehension of objective existence. And then leading to the various offshoots of the miseries in different forms, from the acute suffering, to the debate-like suffering change, to the all-pervasive, ever-present, pervasive condition suffering. This is how all the human beings, they're suffering so much. And with the desire to help them, first help yourself, then help them to lead them into the state of total fearlessness and infinite happiness. So with this great aspiration to help them, imagine that you inspire all the beings to be with you in the journey of cleansing mind to unravel this beautiful treasure of the Buddhahood within us, the seed of perfection within us. And the purpose of the practice is to awaken the seed so that you will experience the ultimate benefit, the benefit of fearlessness and infinite happiness. Also to give this ultimate benefit to other beings as well. So the two ultimate goodnesses, ultimate goodness for yourself and the ultimate goodness for all beings. So this is the wisest thing to be done. We all have the capacity to do that, no matter who you are, what gender, what ethnicity, what religious background. So what social status, financial status, it doesn't, everyone has the same potential. So with keeping this in mind, imagine that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are there, and you are leading this practice, accompanied by all the dear sentient beings in a very joyful state of mind, peaceful. And in respect of Kashi, this is the whole way to use to you the Buddha and in respect of Kashi, this is the whole way to use to you the Buddha and in respect of Kashi, this is the whole way to use to you the Buddha Sangye Java Soke Chonamla Chanjo Bado Dami Kapsucho Bhagye Jinsoke Personamke Joda Venture Sangye Krupasho Sangye Java Soke Chonamla Chanjo Bado Dami Kapsucho Bhagye Jinsoke Personamke Joda Venture Sangye Krupasho Sangye Joda Soke Chonamla Chanjo Bado Dami Kapsuche Dagi Jinsoke Personamke I go for refuge and light to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. I go for refuge and light to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. By my conditions of practice, and so forth, may I become the Buddha, and all species. I go for refuge and light to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. By my conditions of practice, and so forth, may I become the Buddha, and all species. Independent realization, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no abundance, no coming, no going, no separation, no sadness. I practice the Lord's will by destroying these big issues, the one quality is the stream of vibrations. I practice the Lord's clear as the Lord's as the Lord's, so which is the all things, which wisdom knowledge of past for the sending migrators by children of the world. And to the body of the steps of the one who is transformed into the light by doing it in our children's voice and watching his mouth, which is our shadow character to the light, read the Buddha God. One who is in the means of light of socialization, and now is the light of the past and profound, with the shines of the sovereign light rays, filled with light expressions. Inspired with his compassion, made the Buddha's presence, and awakening for the benefit of all beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramanaye Swaha. Profound, peaceful, vibration-free, clear-light, non-mental, by no one can practice teaching in silence without replying to the words. Beyond utterance, thoughts, expressions, and which is unborn, unseen, and energetic of the face. It is the object of fragmentation of self-realized wisdom, to do the word of Buddhas of 3 times by 8 reasons. The 4 seals of his teachings. All composite things are permanent, all temporary things are object of suffering, all phenomena are nature of emptiness and self-existence, not the solitude of peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome, and go for refuge with the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, liberated all beings of mysteries, I beseech you by my domain and give teachings until the endless expanse of millions of eons. The Buddha is not spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the Guru such as their beings are liberated. With ordinary realizations of all actions, shine like Brahma for all will live in mysteries. If you are attached to this life, if you are attached to self-realization, if you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have anything. We read the phrase to Shakyamuni, page 14. And keep in mind that as we recite verses, the phrases, and as we read them, this is not just, you see, the title says the praise to rejecting the Buddha. So by praising Buddha, then the Buddha will be very happy, grant you blessings. This is not the idea. But you praise Buddha, you don't praise Buddha. Buddha is like a mother. Mother doesn't wait for the child. You only, give the child's praise for the mother. I don't know wait for that. When the child praises the mother or doesn't praise the mother, for the mother forever embraces the child. But why do we do that? Is the Buddha is praised with certain qualities that you are endowed with these qualities. So look at what are the qualities indicated on the basis of which the Buddha is praised. And knowing that these qualities mark somebody as a Buddha, enlightened being, somebody who experiences the total fearlessness and infinite happiness. So see, even that you're also someone who would like to have this experience of fearlessness and infinite happiness. See if you have some of these qualities within you, what is the qualities which are enumerated here. See if you have these qualities. If you do have, rejoice. And then see how to nurture them further. If you don't have these, don't worry, no doubt you have the seed, because you have the seed of the best of the qualities, but the natures within you. So knowing that you have this seed, our job is to know, okay, now I know what are the qualities to be cultivated in myself, and try to cultivate these qualities, and then see how to nurture them further. So this is how we go through Gade, Para, to accomplish what you aspire. Okay. And as a reminder, last time I did mention that when you recite these, there are three ways of doing it. One is simply letting the words flow, that's it. Your thoughts may be distracted here and there. Here, the benefit is least. And then in some cases, where you don't recite anything, this is the worst. You don't get anything. So at least you recite something, your mind is activated to some way the words, mind to read the words, see the words. This part of mind is activated. This is the first level. Then the next is you read them and the meanings are reflected. When that happens, actual growth is taking place within you. Actual growth. And the growth, we can't expect that you read with so much of concentration and meanings, and then next day you become enlightened. No, it's not possible. It'll take time. Growth takes place very slow. But this is always the wise person's approach. No matter how long it takes, you go in this direction, one day you reach there. This is the wise person's approach. Whereas the unwise people's approach is that you do something and you want the result right there. Shortcut path. So those who seek the shortcut path will never achieve the noble goals. And if you don't attain these noble goals, you continue to shed tears. So there's a choice. To continue to shed tears endlessly, or at one point you stop it. At one point you stop it, then you have to start the journey. While reciting these, reflect on meanings. And then don't waste a life. Young people, I would say that the young people here, generally speaking, say there's an English saying which says converting the converted. And so I'm saying that the fact that you come here means you have interest. It's so precious. How many young people are there who are lost in the pubs, drugs, and all these things in comparison with them? What you do here, you came here, spending a few days, and then plan for the world scholarship or whatever. Come all the way here, and then come early morning. Otherwise, people just sleep till 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and you come here early morning. This is amazing. These all are indicative of your, say, the activation. You have the very strong coming imprint, and the activation, further activation of the imprints are happening. This is so precious. So, at the same time, we should not feel complacent with good things that we have. We'll see how we improve them further. So, with this mind, I'll recite these verses. Number one, just let the words flow and the mind scattered. One, least benefit. Second, words flow and the meanings are reflected. Meanings reflected, and you feel tired because when you reflect on meanings, so much energy is consumed. So, which means that growth is taking place. Where there's no energy consumption means no effort is invested. With no effort, you will never grow. Third one, words flow, meanings reflected, and experiences invoked. So when you do that, then you, at the end, just by reading this verse, reading this passage, at the end, you'll feel really very tired, exhausted. When these three things happen, which means that so much of transformation has taken place because so much of effort you put towards the transformation. So this is the real transformation, and this will take you to, you see that progress is so fast. Okay, let's forget it. But for to let the third thing to happen, words flow, meanings reflected, and experiences invoked. So for the third thing to happen, you should have some degree, some years of meditation experience on the four seals, Buddha nature, bodhicitta, and wisdom of emptiness. We should have some experiences in these through meditation. For time being, and of course I can see many seniors here. For you can do all three, but the beginners who can at least do the number 2. That is, words flow, meanings reflected. Okay. Together, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the Father,
down Master Geshe Dorji Damdul, to the full Shiva, living perfected, fully creating being, perfect knowledge and supreme life, and beings dictated, teach all others to be, receive completely from living one, the dark transcendent destroy, glory some conquerors, some of Shakti plan, I prostrate with the offerings of privilege. Born on myself, wisdom 7 stripes, and said, I am supreme with wisdom, wise I prostrate. Your Lord is supreme, your wisdom ocean, mountain, and the supreme color like gold, you are prostrate. Thus I like the 3 words of the mountain, incomparable wise you are prostrate. The Savior and great compassion from the purity that frees one from attachment, the worship that frees one from the lower ones, was one by us designed for reality to the Dharma that classifies prostrate. Those who are the great and also shows Father's relation, the holy three qualities and realizations, who are devoted to one princess, through the Son God prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only good virtuous actions. Set your mind on this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star of Krishna liberation, a flame of light, an illusion, a total to evil or gold, a dream, a flash of lightning, a path, the signification is as such. Through these experiences, sentient beings attain the rank of all scenes, a view of all walls, and the ability to some stars of ocean, return by the way of species existence in heaven.
Hearts to throne. I think we recite the Husband Mantra, page 31, 7 times. And it's good if you can recite this house of mantra when you are by yourself, say like when you travel, probably just wasting time getting like this. Recite the mantra. If you know the meaning, this is something which we need to learn. If you know the meaning so well, if you recite this particular meaning, and then gade, how the gade happens, when the mental departments are removed. How the mental departments are removed by meditating the wisdom of emptiness. You get a glimpse of emptiness, you see that mental disturbance subsides. So, This is the meaning of the mental transformation, mental purification. So as we recite this mantra, then initially you put in effort to reflect on how this Gati happens by the wisdom of emptiness. Once in a while, sometimes when you're by yourself, you can just sing this the way we do. But just sing it. And then when you sing it, it takes you have time to reflect on the meaning. And from the meaning of the emptiness, and then see how the mind reacts. The mind, you think that your mind is already very calm, but when you get a glimpse of emptiness, you see that there's a deeper calmness there, there's a more subtle calmness there, you will feel it. Then you realize that, so when not managed in emptiness, 24 hours my mind is in the form of disturbance. But emptiness meditation, you can see the calmness, stillness of my mind, the tranquility, you feel it. But then you realize that, oh, this is the meaning of purification. This is the meaning of stopping the tears. So with this calmness, you will not shed tears. Tears is the result of this much of disturbance, you cannot bear it. That is the tears. So with the wisdom of emptiness, you see that it calms down. Everything is in control. So there's a total tranquility there. You will embrace it, and this is the meaning of purification. You will get the feeling. And then you will say that this is the Dharma. This is the Dharma. And then once you do that for several times, by incorporating your recitation with the reflection of emptiness, then later on, even without specifically reflect on emptiness, just recite Gate, Gate, the reflection automatically happens. For example, like a small child, say the small child who always has been eating the mother's food with a particular smell. Then after 20, 30 years, when you smell this, the same smell, instantly the memory of your mother is retrieved. You don't put any effort. So these two are linked. So likewise, when you recite this mantra later on, then automatically this mantra recitation and the meaning, the wisdom of emptiness, will just be retrieved. And effortlessly the wisdom of emptiness will come to you. And then you feel the benefit. Okay, we'll say the same. And imagine, so this hospital mantra was actually said on the Vulture's Peak in Rajgir. And imagine that you are there in Rajgir, where the Buddha Shakyamuni is presiding over us, and they put His Holiness that today, the living Buddha, His Holiness is there with us. So Buddha Shakyamuni is the Dalai Lama, and Arabi Teshvara, Shariputra, and surrounded by all the Bodhisattvas, monks, nuns, and lay devotees, and you, your parents, your children, your family members, everyone is there right in front of the Buddha Shakyamuni is the Dalai Lama. And imagine that Buddha Shakyamuni says, Swargas Das, don't remain in the tears of samsara anymore. Come to us ultimate happiness, fearlessness, by awakening the seed of perfection within you. And you hearing what the Buddha is indicating, you inform this to your parents, your children, all the family members, all the demonstration beings. Look, this is what a capacity of Buddha Shakyamuni is what it does. There's not remain in fears of samsara anymore. There's all go alone. There's all go towards enlightenment together. And everybody hearing what you say, they're so inspired, and they join you in this journey of cleansing the mind. Let's say this together several times.
Lake Bodhisattva.
Okay, the next is 8 verses of mind training, which is on page 35. Okay, 8 verses of mind training. The Khas Sutra is accounted for activating our wisdom. We need to have the 2 wings to cross the ocean of samsara. One is the wing of wisdom, another is the wing of man, that wing of compassion. And the 8 verses of mind training is primarily to activate your compassion part. And we see that the compassion bodhicitta. And to activate the compassion bodhicitta, we have to cut down the counter force. What's the counter force of compassion? What's the counter force of compassion? Self-cherishing, anger, ego. So we have to cut them down. So we have to there are 2 things to do. You cut down the ego, self-cherishing, and anger, and so forth. And we have to increase your compassion. We have to do both. So then your journey of the cultivating compassion will be very effective. So to cut down the negative forces, the counter forces of the attack, the compassion, we have to identify what they are. So the 8 verses of mind training, the master, Geshe Dorji Damdul. In fact, it is said that the Geshe Dorji Damdul was oftentimes described as the one who is waiting all the time, one who cries all the time. And why he was described as such was that he was always found in the wilderness, in the wilderness, in the forest, just sitting like this, and then lost in thoughts, and then would take some steps, again stop there, again lost in thoughts, keep crying, again come back. So people notice that. And so later on they come to realize that he was just shedding tears all the time out of, say, the enriching. When the compassion is so much enriched within himself that he could feel the pain of other sentient beings. So he was primarily meditating on bodhicitta. So these were the verses. The verses coming here, they're all from this experienced great master. So, great Geshe Dorji Damdul. This was about like 11th, 12th century eating. And so these verses, they are self-explanatory, and we see that in essence. So the author identifies various the facets of the counterforces of the negative, the counterforces of compassion. But in essence, we see that are within us. We see that sometimes we are like, people talk about, what is that? Dr. Jack and Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jack and Mr. Hyde, which means within the same person behaves in 2 different ways, right? In the daytime, it's a Dr. Hyde, meaning so compassionate, so beneficial. In the night, he becomes crazy. He becomes a demon in the night. So this is just a story, but it depicts our mental state. Sometimes you are so kind, so gentle. You just like to embrace your mother, you like just to embrace your father, embrace your children, embrace everybody. We love them. Sometimes you can become demonic. You can really fight with your father, mother, children, husband, wife, and so forth. Actually, this is the Dr. Hyde, Dr. Jack and
Dr. Jekyll.
Dr. Jekyll
And
Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde is a demon, and Dr. Jekyll is someone who's helping somebody. So this is actually not outside, it's inside within us, right? So, in other words, at times we feel so much happiness, at times we feel so much miseries. These miseries, so the root is our afflictions, and happiness, the root is virtues. So we see that, given that we have the happiness, we experience happiness sometimes, this is a result of the virtues. For example, they say, somebody smiles at you, somebody gives you a genuine smile, helps you. If that is a result of you have done something virtuous in the past. In some cases, unexpected, so benefit, help comes from somebody unexpected. So much love and affection. Wow, that's amazing. It's also a result of your virtue that you did in the past. And sometimes we go through so much of problems, anxiety, stress. These are the results of the negative karmas that we did in the past. Okay, so negative karmas means there is within us, it is also not outside, it is within us. So within us we see that our emotions, there are the two sets of emotions. One which results into happiness, other which results into miseries. So which results into happiness at the root is the other cherishing. Which results into suffering at the root is the self-centered attitude. Or in simple terms, so this is one way to look at it. Another way to look at it, where the happiness is there, the root, there's the self-confidence. Miseries at the root is the ego. So self-confidence and ego, these two look very similar. They are not similar, they are not same, they are very different. Self-confidence gives rise to happiness. The ego gives rise to misery. And if you go through all forms of miseries in this life, I didn't do anything bad in this life. Yes. It is not just you. Everybody. As long as we don't realize emptiness, as long as we don't attain bodhicitta, somehow it's a matter of waiting for the queue. Waiting in the queue. Whose turn now? Is it up, down, up, down, up, down? Sometimes it's you, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's me. It's just up, down, up, down. So this is the meaning of when will these tears stop? This is the meaning. So if you want to stop this, you have to stop the root cause. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these tears, they arise from the causes. What's the root cause? One is self-centered attitude. Other one is self-grasping ignorance. Still another one is the ego. Ego. And when I say ego, is a blend of the two things, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. Blend together, manifest in the form of an ego. And this ego only destroys us, destroys you. The fact that you being so contemptuous of others, you just insult others, look down on others, which means it's your ego, and it doesn't do anything good to you. It only harms you, destroys you. When we are weak, environment can easily influence us to become egoistic. I should be very defensive because the environment is so competitive. I should also become competitive and defensive. It can destroy your emotions so badly. And this bad habit will take the next life. And these people who destroy you, they will not come with you. This bad habit that you have developed from the environment, this you will take to the next life and you suffer. So, with this mind, in this life, just these 8 verses of that training, Heart Sutra, and so forth. These are gems, and there are 8 billion human beings, let alone all the creatures, all these trillions of creatures on the planet Earth. Human beings, 8 billion human beings are there. And how many of them have heard the 8 verses of my training? So less. On your fingertips, you will not find them. And you are there. You are among those, so less number of people who got the opportunity to meet with this. You feel the joy already, met with this. So with this, say the 8 verse 120, Geshe Dorji Damdul, the author, is telling us that within us there are 2 root sources, the sources of the 2 root causes of the 2 mindsets, virtuous mindsets and the non-virtuous mindsets. Virtuous mindsets which keep you happy. See, it says that, in the summer is very hot, you could feel the breeze sometimes. And with the breeze, what do you feel? Pleasant, unpleasant?
Pleasant.
Extremely pleasant. Even that is because of your virtuous karma. Nothing of the good things, the happiness you experience, none of the happiness you experience is what randomly came to you. And the miseries, the pains, the stress that we have, is all because of the negative karmas for oneself that we do in the past. So knowing this, I must have done so bad, I'm hopeless. If you do like this is very unfortunate way of looking at things. So seeing that these are the negative karmas result, Do you want to experience the same thing in the future? I don't want. If you don't want, stop doing non-British consciousness lie. This is the message. Instead of feeling demoralized, oh no, I'm so homeless person, look, I'm suffering all the time, this is no karma, I did so much bad things in the past life, today also I do the emptiness, I do the bodhicitta, I continue to suffer. If this is your attitude, you will continue to suffer. So whereas if you look at it from a different angle, okay, now I realize, at least I'm so glad that I realized that all the experiences that I'm going through, the miseries, I was in their karma, I don't want to experience this misery in the future. What should I do? I should stop the cause of the negativities. Stop the cause of my negativities. Okay, so root, so what it identifies here is that, say, the negative states like what? Anger. And the, anger, the abuse, bully, and so forth. And these all come from the ego. And so this ego must be destroyed. When ego is destroyed, self-confidence should increase. So self-confidence, ego should not be equated. Some people, when you see that he's so self-confident, he's so self-confident, implying that very egoistic. Oh, he has no ego means no self-confidence, right? So we tend to equate the two. Ordinary people, for ordinary people, these two are very similar, because as your self-confidence grows, your wealth grows, your stature grows, your ego also grows. Self-confidence grows, ego also grows. And then when the ego subsides, say something bad happens, I think that I'm very special. And then you can realize I'm not special, right? Then ego goes down, self-confidence also goes down. So for the ordinary people, another way of demarcating ordinary people and the wise people, evolved people, is that ordinary person, for them, ego and self-confidence are the same. As the self-confidence goes up, ego also goes up. As the ego goes down, self-confidence also goes down. This is ordinary people. Evolved beings, or those people, self-confidence goes up, ego goes down. That's the evolved being. Look at His Holiness. His Holiness, when he was awarded Nobel Prize, Nobel Peace Prize. So look at how the camera captured the whole view. And the Nobel, the committee, the director, or whoever, he announced His Holiness's name as the Nobel Peace Laureate for this year. And then the person, the cameraman, captured all the people. His Holiness sitting in the first row. People there, and His Holiness comes there, and you will not know that he's the one who is going to receive, who is the recipient of the Nobel Prize. He said, no. Whereas for the Wimbledon World Cup, when they win, how do they react? As to when they become crazy, crying, so much emotions. This is where, that I am somebody special, you are nobody. This is the attitude. All those other competitors, you are nobody. I am special, my group is special. This is ego. His Holiness, yes, he's a special Nobel laureate, right? And yet you will not see that he's the one. You will not identify that he's the one, right? He's just very normal, like this. And finally, invited, and he came up. Oh, this is the person who is the Nobel laureate for this year. Nobel Peace Laureate for this year. This is where, and yet when he gets up, there's no tension, fear, so composed. This is self-confidence. Where he's emotionally very stable, no ego. Ego is zero, self-confidence is high. So self-confidence and ego should not be mixed up. You must not lose your self-confidence. If you lose your self-confidence, this is the end. This is the greatest failure. Nobody can fail you. Only you can fail you when you lose your self-confidence. You must try to maintain self-confidence, meanwhile not giving in to the ego. Ego must be suppressed, subdued. So what we learn here is to suppress the ego and then boost the self-confidence. Oftentimes people, when they read this, they see this as when they don't see the nuances of this text, they see that it's very self-denial, taking this suffering on yourself, giving victory to others. It's very self-denial, no? So they say this, what is presented here, I take the loss, I I'll take on the pains and loss of others. So that is to crush your ego, not to crush yourself. It's to crush the ego. And at the end, it says, in verse 8, it says that, may I recognize all things the illusions, devoted thinking, be released from bondage. May all remain undefiled by the sins of the alien concerns. May I recognize all things as illusions, devoted thinking, be released from bondage. So, I say, be released from the bondage, that I be liberated, that all the beings are liberated, that all sentient beings are liberated. So that I will take responsibility of all the other sentient beings. And if you see that the self-consciousness is not there, how will you take the responsibility for all the other sentient beings? So, from this we should be able to see the nuances. The nuances in the meaning of this very profound text is not to be interpreted as self-denial of the teachings, but is to deny the ego and boost the self-confidence. Okay. That's better now. It was both. It's not working.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Later. Okay. 8 verses for the 20 morning. We shall only come out as reads together. With the determination that we shall rise all the benefit of all sentient beings, to exercise the wishful future, we will whenever I try to someone, I myself as the lowest of all, and for the death of my respectful brothers and sisters. In all my needs, may I grow into my mind, and respect and emotion of my eyes, as they create myself and others, and so confirm the better. When I see from something that and those present strongly in the beginning of suffering, and never will be afraid as if I discovered the true treasure. When others are against me, speaking beyond me, they will stand as more. And I take upon myself the feeling of your purpose of retreat. When someone whom I help, on whom I place great rules, which is being extremely from ways, and large happiness to teachers. In brave, and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly, and particularly myself, others, and things of others. All of men undefiled by the same the aid of my dear concerns, and may I recognize the all things as illusions, what of making music of. And the next verse is the extracted from Lama Tsongkhapa's Lama Dervish here, because there are many people reading these 8 verses, they couldn't really understand the verse number 8, and because of which, till verse number 7, these are to crush our ego. But how it presented is like, it says that when I quietly take upon myself all hurts and the pains of my mothers, and then I take the defeat, I take the pains. So it is like self-denial. But it's not contrary. It is to subdue your ego. It is to crush your ego. And so for people who read this on their own without any explanation from some of the teachers, so I added this verse from Lama Tsongkhapa's prayer. So from this you see there is not self-denial. There's a great courage. I will think, may I become Buddha from all sentient beings. I become a Buddha, meaning I become the perfected, I become the being with the perfect qualities, which means that there's so much of self-confidence. You getting it? So clearly indicating that what the early verses are to indicate to crush the ego, not to crush your self-confidence. Okay. So let's say it together. Roman to connection, last mistake as I was, perfectly that I had it expressed, at the time, may I become achieved with the all those when you go to the mantra offering, page 40. I'm sure you know how to do the hand gesture. Most of you know this hand gesture. Okay, those of you who do not know this, you learn it during the break time. But this hand gesture is not mandatory. It is not mandatory, but if you learn, it's also good. Okay. Okay. Ready? So mandala offering, the idea is that the say offering the best of everything for all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Why? That you want to learn from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. You want to learn from them. And to learn from them, there should be receptivity from your side. And the receptivity opens up when you feel connected. And you create this connection by giving offerings of the best to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay. This ground, an only good perfume, streams of flowers, the only good meal, the 400 days of the sun and the moon. I imagine this is the Buddha and the offering. To all sentient beings, joyous to be here. Om Sati Dorji And before he passed away, I just had the phone call with him when he was in Delhi and I was in Dharamsala, a quick conversation, and then when he went Cambridge, and then coming back, he already passed away. And then coming back, I came to learn from his very close disciples, other disciples, that the Geshe left some of the lines, and I looked at them. It was so very powerful. They contains all the teachings, and then with these teachings, then from His Holiness, the teachers, I incorporated some of them, put them together in the form of what is known as the overall blueprint of the Dharma practice. One is renunciation, number 2 is bodhicitta, number 3 is wisdom of emptiness, and number 4 is the union of bliss and emptiness. Union of bliss and emptiness. This is known as this is called tantric practice. And to know the tantra so well, not what's that? What's the English word? The popular tantra. It's not the popular tantra. Tantra means people feel, scared. Not the real tantra. It is to activate yourself, clear that mind. Subtly clear that mind. Activating this clear mind, your real potential inside, how to activate this. So that is this practice known as the union of bliss and emptiness. So this bliss will make you very energetic, and the emptiness will make sure that you don't fall into, you're not trapped by this bliss. So this bliss will make you well for sentient beings, and the emptiness will make sure that you're not trapped by the bliss. So this is being balanced. So otherwise, with emptiness without the bliss, you don't have the energy to go for sentient beings. With the bliss without the emptiness, you can be trapped in the bliss. So that the bliss will make sure that you have the energy to go for sentient beings, And the emptiness will make sure that you're not trapped by the bliss. So this, the union with bliss and emptiness. Okay, let's read this together. Okay, first I will explain this part also. The four Dhammas of Gompa. It says that we have the best mind directed towards the Dhamma, that my mind is directed. So, out of 8 billion human beings, infinite centuries, on the planet Earth, 8 billion human beings. And in the solar system, most likely the planet Earth is the one which sustains life. And in the Milky Way galaxy, no doubt, innumerable world systems are there. Science cannot go there as yet. Science cannot even go beyond the solar system. If the solar system we cannot explore yet, solar system, Mars, which has landed, they could not explore what is around. Then let alone what the neighboring the solar system, they could not. And then the galaxies, Milky Way galaxy, just Milky Way galaxy, what's inside this, science is too far away, too far away. And some places we can even say that there's no possibility for the science to reach there, because to reach there should be some medium. The light should come from there, and light is billions of years to reach. Distance too far away that the light from that particular world system will take billions and billions of years, and the world system, the world, this planet Earth is just planet with the whole Milky Way, whole universe, visible universe. It's just as old as 15 billion years ago. And the distance from those galaxies, the world systems, is so far away that life from them will take billions and billions of years. No possibility for science to reach out there. So, but the world systems are there. The essentials are there. Out of these billions and trillions and trillions and trillions of human beings, the creatures, infinite number of creatures, how many of us, our mind are directed towards the Dharma? So less. So the first, if you don't connect to the Dharma, Dharma means a system to take free you from the tears of samsara. You will never stop, your tears will never stop without the Dharma. So the first line says, may I be blessed that my Dharma is directed towards my mind is directed towards the Dharma, number one. Then number 2 says, may I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. So once I'm connected with the Dharma, that my Dharma should not be go off the track or go in the wrong direction. Let's say that sometimes we are very diligent in the Dharma, but then we are ill. We become ill, and then we don't have facilities to actually go deeper into the Dharma and so forth. We don't meet with the proper teachings. So it says that may I be blessed that my Dharma practice on the proper path meaning where the hindrances should not come. Okay, now no hindrances. You have good health, you meet with, you can freely go anywhere, nobody is stopping you from Dharma practice. But then suddenly you meet with somebody who says, what is Nunnery? It doesn't make any sense. Right? Study. Right? You talk about, look, those people who will discourage you, they can discourage you so effectively. Right? They will say that, when you talk about, you are suffering, you have the tuberculosis, what medicines are you to be taken? Aswini acid, and who are you who discovered Aswini acid? Who discovered it? And where is this chemical coming from? From where? You keep studying, you don't take the medicine. Right? This is not a tradition. Many people say like this. When you meet with these people and that's true. The example is very convincing. Keep saying, who invented Aswini acid? Where is this person now? In which country? Right? And where is the textbook? Which year the textbook was published? And who was the publisher? Who was the owner of the publisher? Right? And who's the uncle of the publisher? You told us it's just endless. And when you're going to take this medicine, Aswini acid, you getting it? These are the ways by which people dissuade you from following this beautiful, so precious Nunnery tradition. So, if you meet with some practice, forget about study. What? Practice, eat the medicine. Don't talk about the medicine, eat the medicine. right? And then practice. What practice? What should you practice? Sit like this, right? Sit like this, sit like this. And do the breathing. Just focus on the breathing, right? And then, oh yeah, and you do it, and then your immediate mental disturbance calms down. Wow, this is amazing, right? I'm so lucky that I met with this teaching. Otherwise it would have really wasted my time. It's amazing. Actually, it's not amazing. You actually destroy it. Because if this is the practice to stop the tears, why Buddha Prince Siddhartha was not happy with the teachings that he got from his two teachers, Acharya Alar Kalam and Acharya Uddreka Roy. They already reached this samadhi level, very high level, the highest level they reached, but the wisdom is missing. So therefore the Buddha left. You getting it? So this is how people can deceive us. It's not intentionally. They are ignorant, and they make you also ignorant. So one blind person leading another blind person. This is how we are suffering. Okay. So third one says, may I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. That the path that I follow, that it is not tainted by the flaws. That just with the practice, single meditation, you will attain Buddhahood. Right? This flawed path, this incomplete path, may not be swayed by these incomplete path. This is not. Then, in case if I do encounter with this incomplete path, then what should I be doing? Then the last one is not applicable to us yet. Last one is applicable to you when you realize the emptiness. When you realize emptiness. It says, may I be blessed that the flaws, if the flaws do happen to me in terms of your, say, the practice and so forth, then the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. To see that, say for example, let's say you go to a shop to buy a statue, and there's so many statues of Buddha Shakyamuni, Jesus Christ, and so forth, and statue of the demon also, right? And which statue do you pick up? The Buddha, Jesus Christ. You will pick up these statues. You will not pick up the statue of the demon, right? But if you discover that all these statues are made of diamonds, how could you throw the statue of the demon? Well, no. Demon is the flaw, but the flaw is made of the diamonds. If you realize emptiness, even the flaws can be seen in the light of the emptiness. And then you see the flaws as the light of the emptiness. The positive things are positive. In the negative things, in your eyes, you can see as positive. You convert them into positive. So the whole universe is filled with positivity. For you, there's nothing negative. This is enlightenment. Okay. The fourth one is very profound. We'll say this together now. The four dhammas of Gompa. May I be blessed with the extended strength. May I be blessed with the thorough practice of noble paths. May I be blessed with the paths of free of flaws. May I be blessed with the flaws I see in my own existence. The four dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasatha become captive to the strength of the ignorance and paths of existence. Please bless me genuine renunciation in all aspects of our appreciably fostered. Please give us the answers over the precious position that the Church has mothers. Please bless me with the immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that doesn't see the natural and intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come to being by the mental relationship of information. Please bless me with the mind stream of those of the precious wisdom of non-duality wisdom. Idam Guru Rana Mandara Mandirati Rami. Okay, the next page 42. Page 42, I already told you about this last time. This is the roadmap to enlightenment. So just we are expected to follow the steps you practice in line with the verses, in line with the order of the verses given here. And this is such a succinct teaching by Lama Tsongkhapa, so short and yet very comprehensive and very lucid. Okay. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect Guru. correct devotion to him is the power. My clearly sees and I regret. Please bless me to rely on the great respect. Understanding that the branch is really the discipline is not only one. It's really the full branches of the divine being. Please bless me to turn the mind that unceasingly day and night takes essence. This silence is the abundance of all. Remember how quickly it takes and comes. After that, just like a shadow falls the body, the results of which is no longer possible. Finding blood and definitely continues. Please bless me always to be careful. Seeking them to go to all suffering, recognizing the shortcomings, seeking blessings and restoring the physical separation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness is darkness and great consciousness. The root of the teaching is keeping the breath conscious. Please bless me accomplishes essential matters, just as I have fallen into the sea of desire, so I all are like great beings. Please bless me to see this strange to the people of Jishta, and grant the responsibility of bringing my beings. Even if I don't know the Jishta, but I will practice 3 times of morality, I will achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the wisdom of creative energy. Once I have such distractions from objects, and great realizing reality, please bless me to generate in my mind stream, and special insight. Having become a real sensitivity to the past, please bless me to fully give at that time, the basis of accomplishing attainments is keeping pure vows and smiles. As I have become fully convinced of this, please bless me to protecting these vows and pledges like in my life. Then I realize the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing energy, never giving up the 4 sessions. Please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. And the Guru's teaching of the Gompa, and the spiritual friends who practice it all our lives. Please bless me to all to the human beings. All my life is the separate from the Gurus. Okay, next people say the Mitzvah mantra, praise to Lord Subhava. In English, that's followed by the Tibetan. You are our invitation, and my Gompa, they're all synonymous. It's the same enlightened being. But people say this in Tibetan, when you say this, we just skip the third line. It's not for any other reason, just to accommodate humanity. That's it. Whereas when you say this without singing, you can say all 5 lines. You may say, the many moments of the woman is the sound. I think it was all sound, the 5. But in to accommodate humanity, then we just skip the third before.
Bye.
myself, and I'm going to quickly explain what this meditation is constituted of. Meditation, in the first place, meditation is a system to train your mind, to habituate your mind in the virtues. This is meditation. And habituate your mind in virtues, there are two kinds. One, to sharpen your virtues, to make your virtues rich, and the other, to stabilize the virtues. To make the virtues rich, you require analysis. So that part of the meditation known as analytical meditation, to enrich your virtues, to create the varieties of virtues, to enrich your virtues, to strengthen your virtues, and to sharpen your virtues, and to make virtues profound and vast. And whatever the profundity and the vastness that it brought in your virtues, you need to stabilize them. For to create the stability of the virtues, then we have this single point of meditation. Technically, and the first one, analytical meditation, is also referred to as the special insight meditation. Special insight meditation, and sometimes, or in Sanskrit, it's known as Vipassana. Vipassana. But this should not be mixed up with the 10-day Vipassana course of Goenkaji. And Goenkaji's 10-day Vipassana is just amazing, so good. And I'm sure that some of you have taken part in these programs. It's so good. It's so good, but it's so good doesn't mean that you have these two are same, right? For example, Albert Einstein is so good, but if you are to learn about, say, the biology, don't ask Albert Einstein. You getting it? You want to study neuroscience, don't ask Albert Einstein. Einstein has his own specialization. Neuroscience is very special. Don't mix up two things. So some people, they say that, for example, some people, they have no study of the RNA consciousness text. They didn't get opportunity. They go into some, they meet with some teachers. They took them to practice, and then they go to mountains, and then they meditated. Very good. It's not bad. No exposure to, and then the ordinary people, they're too naive. They think that they know everything, and then somebody says that his one's due to study emptiness, and then you tell, there's one teacher, then you go there, and the poor teacher, he does not have any exposure to this. You force him to teach, and the teacher teaches something, and then you go totally go mess up. You're getting it? So the point is that the Goenkaji's 10-day Vipassana meditation is so good. Simply because it has the label Vipassana doesn't mean that this equals what I'm sharing with you. Vipassana in the Nunnery tradition, it is a very different meaning. Don't just get trapped with the labels. You get it? But the labels can be same, but the meaning is very different. And Goenkaji's meditation with Vipassana is very good in its own ways. And the tradition is so alive. The Goenkaji is brought from, I think, Burma. The tradition is so alive there, but because of the Goenkaji's own karmic connection with the sentient beings, it simply exploded in the whole world. It's so precious, so precious. Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Jains, non-believers, even the prisoners, even they all do this practice. So precious. But the Einstein, I love him. But for neuroscience, I'll never ask Einstein. You're getting it? You'll not mix up two things. Einstein has his own strength. Likewise, so the Vipassana. So therefore, I always try to not use the word Vipassana to refer to this special insight meditation. I use the word special insight meditation instead of, because common people, they're not vastly right. Because they just by the label, they get confused. They think that these two are same. So special insight meditation, and the other one is technically known as shamatha meditation. To stabilize your practice is known as shamatha meditation. Of the two, let's say all the studies which we're doing, they are part of the analytical meditation or the special insight meditation. Like how the mind works, what's the reality, your mind is constantly sharpened to see the reality deeper. This falls under the category of the analytical meditation or a special insight meditation. Whereas now what we're doing here, this is single point meditation or shamatha meditation. just to stabilize whatever virtues that you have, to stabilize, we do this practice. Okay. So for this practice, 4 points to keep in mind, particularly for the newcomers. For others, they already know. Newcomers, 4 points to keep in mind. One is the body posture. Number 2, focal point. Number 3, identify the errors of meditation. Number 4, applying remedies to overcome the errors. 4 points to keep in mind. What is the first one? Body posture. What is number 2? Focal point. What is number 3? Identify the errors of meditation. What is number 4? Applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Okay, first body posture. Body posture, there are some postures are mandatory and some optional. So, for example, like sitting cross-legged. So where you are, say, the left foot on your right leg and the right foot on your left leg, cross-legged. And for beginners, it may be a little difficult to do that. If you have knee replacement surgery or back surgery and so forth, don't force yourself to sit in this position. You have to sit in whatever position is most comfortable to you. But if you don't have these issues, no replacement, no knee problem, back problem, then you try to sit in this position, and it can pain you in just about like a few seconds. When it pains, again, let go of the feet in the most comfortable place, and when pain is gone, again bring it back. It's a practice. So then gradually you feel that this sitting is very comfortable, and particularly the benefit of this is that when you sit in this position, of course, related to the channels, the chakras, the energy and so forth. Okay, keeping that aside, practice meaning visibly. Visible benefit that you can see is that if you sit in this position, if you sit for meditation for long duration, then of falling into sleep or feeling heavy, these things will be less likely. It will not stop altogether, but it will be less likely. You will be able to maintain alertness of mind for a longer duration of time. And the next one, the body upright. This is so important. Body, and sometimes, even the young people, they have this habit of sitting like this. Never build this habit, sitting like this. Always learn to sit like this. And do not meditate. When you're not meditating, if you have to lean against the support, but still keep the body straight. Upright, lean, still the body is straight. Don't, make your body like this. Okay, so this habit has been built. For meditation, if you don't have a backache problem, then don't lean against the support. Just keep your body upright, that's it. And you can, particularly when you do the meditation, and if you have, let's say, some experience of meditation, you can see the stark contrast between the two. When you sit upright versus sit like this, or lean against support, instantly you can see the state of the mind is different. The moment you lean against support, or you sit like this, instantly your mind feels relaxed. The mind, the rigor drops. You could just feel it instantly. The moment you sit upright like this, instantly your mind feels uplifted and fresh and alert. Then next you have to forward a little bit. And the next point which is so important is eyes not closed. And some people, when they're guiding the students, close your eyes, this is a disaster. And if you just go for, to sleep, then close your eyes, it's fine. We will not come for sleeping, we will come for meditation. You get it? Some teachers, they say, close your eyes. If there's a specific purpose, okay. But if it's a real meditation, this is a wrong instruction. You look for any standard text. It always advises you to keep your eyes half open and naturally open and ignore, like this. And then later on, when you become good in the meditation, with eyes open, good meditation, once you're good at it, Then you can do the meditation with the eyes closed, eyes open, up to you, no difference. Begin with the eyes open. And later stage, there are some meditation where you are deliberately, all the lights to be cut off. All the light sources just cut off, make it total dark. And there are special meditations like this. These are exceptions. But we never begin with these meditations. So as beginners, to gain expertise, to go in the direction of gaining expertise in meditation, you have to start with the eyes open. With the eyes open, later on, then say, wherever you are, in a big group, you keep your eyes open, you meditate, do meditation. Whereas you do meditation only with the eyes closed, then in the group, you close eyes, it's very weird. You're with other people, you close eyes, what's this? But with other people, keep the eyes open, and people think that you are just thinking of something, you're actually meditating. Right? You don't waste your time. And then closing eyes is very dangerous. From the beginning, if you do that, close your eyes, in your meditation is very dangerous. Okay, give the recital for the time being. Then your right hand on your left hand, and the tips of 2 thumbs joining, forming a triangle, and 2 thumbs standing, not like this flat. Standing, and place the hand in your lap in a restful state. And breathe normally. Teeth and the lips keep them in the natural course. And the tongue, tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth. Breathe normally. While your body is upright, make sure that your body is flexible, it's not rigid. Okay, this is body posture. Number 2, forward. Okay, today is the only time I'm going to give the instruction, not tomorrow, until tomorrow. You're getting it? So beginners, make sure that you register what I'm saying now. Number 2, forward point. What we're meditating on, there are so many focal points, there are so many versions. It's not that one is better over the other. Everything is perfect, provided they come from the correct lineage, or good lineage. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on just the breath. We just focus on the breath, count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, again, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2, this is what we're going to do. And if you think you can do more, then let's go for multitasking. That is, while we count the breath, you also visualize a tiny white dot. 2 mm or 2.5 mm in diameter between nose and upper lip. Okay, scratch this spot between the nose and upper lip. Just scratch it. Do you feel that? Even without looking at it, you could feel it. Okay, scratch behind, scratch your back. You would feel you are not looking at it. You're not looking with your eyes, but still you could feel it. Yes, I'm scratching. So the mind says, yes, I'm scratching. I will feel the scratch. That mind is a mental consciousness. It's not a sense consciousness. You getting it? But the scratch per se, the spot where the scratch is happening, that's the sense consciousness. But the mind says, yes, I am feeling the scratch. That is the mental consciousness. And meditation should be done by your mental consciousness. It is not done by your sense consciousness. Your eyes are not going. Your eyes are sense consciousness. They are not mental consciousness. Your eyes will not meditate. Your eyes just keep it open. For a fact, it's cast down. Ignore. And your mental consciousness should be made active. Employ the mental consciousness to meditate. Okay. So this mental consciousness is going to do 2 things. Visualize a tiny dot between nose and upper lip. Simultaneously counting the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2, this is the focal point. What is number 3? Identify errors of meditation. Errors of meditation, there are 2. Errors meaning what mistakes can we make in meditation? There are 2. And that is universal, not only Buddhist, universal. One is the laxity, and the other one is excitement. Laxity is the inactivity of your mind. Where your mind feels lax, heavy, sinking, lethargic, and drowsy. So that is a mental laxity. And the opposite of that is mental excitement, overactivity of the mind. Your mind is scattered here and there. That is another trouble or mistake with meditation. Should any of these two things happen, then go for number 4. What's number 4? Apply remedies to overcome the errors. And the remedies there are 2. Introspection and mindfulness. What is introspection? Introspection is like a spy. Say, if you have a pet dog, your pet dog is expected to be around you, and suddenly the pet dog disappeared. When the pet dog disappears, what you do? You should go in search of the pet dog, what the pet dog was doing. So that is introspection. Your mind is like the pet dog. Your mind should be sitting on the focal point. Instead of that, it is just skipping or it is scattered somewhere. So then the introspection will go to see what your mind is doing. That is introspection. When you're checking what my mind is doing, is it meditating or is it scattered, is it skipping? So this is the introspection. Once the introspection sees that your mind is scattered, once you see that your dog is somewhere else, what do you do? And with the rope, you tie the dog with the rope, bring it back home, tie the pillar to home. So likewise, once you see that your mind is distracted or skipping, then you bring the rope of the mindfulness. Mindfulness is like the rope. Rope of mindfulness, tie the mind with the mindfulness, bring the mind back to the pillar of the intended object of your meditation. You getting it? Okay, ready? 5 minutes. Okay, we do the 5 minutes. It's only about 1 minute now. And what you do is that 21 cycles of breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. 1, 2, 4, 21 times. Ready? Okay, thank you.